is like real Davis Clark shit about to happen.
What is the new meme? It's like when you want to dilly-dally, but you're forced to lock in.
Lock it in.
Born to dilly-dally.
Born to dilly-dally, forced to lock in.
You guys are going to be like, we're running this podcast.
Yeah, no, please. That's great. The less we have to talk, the better.
Yeah, I just want to listen.
We love this shit.
So you got a tattoo your last show? Like during your
During the
last
show?
Yeah. I'm going to have a much nicer, more elaborate, and like better tattoo on me right now that I just got, but yet.
Wait, you...
Well, let's see both of them.
Dude.
Everyone's asking me about the one from the show, which is this
But
one.
no, yeah. And then you just got another one after that?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like in the past 6 months, it's been like a dozen.
No, I mean, in the winter and the fall, yeah. But through the summer, I've
Yeah.
been chilling a little
You've been
bit.
chilling?
There's the word rock here.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to get roll as a filler on the other leg.
As you should. As you should.
The illustrated man over here.
Really free
He's gonna get an ampersand above his belly button.
And yeah, and he should.
table,
Yeah.
on my pubic bone.
Oh.
He like free-handed it, so like not stenciled. And I didn't really think about that, so it looks like shit. But the story's funny.
You might want to say this into the microphone.
Oh, yeah, we're...
wanna know?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
we're
live.
rolling. Oh, you
We're-
wanna know?
We've been rolling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I did.
Ruined my viral clip.
Yeah, last show, Straight Jacket Feeling, we got to play The Years to Keep. It's a tattoo shop
Oh.
in West Deptford. Our friend Alex books over there. Schwartz Piercer there, and then our friend Rob also tattoos there. So they had us on the gig, and I just thought it would be funny to be like, well, why don't we get like Kyle, our bassist, got a tattoo also.
Right.
But I'm like, why don't I get a tattoo like while we're playing? I thought that'd be like for the meme, you
Yeah,
know?
no,
And like
it's
a
a
little
good-
bit of like let's try to see if we can get some hits on the
Yeah,
internet
dude.
from
I mean,
it,
it's
you know?
got viral potential.
It does. It's goofy, you know. But like there's logistical like reality of it where it needs to be quick and
Yeah, of
needs
course.
to be easy. So we went for some line work, and then I was like, I really want to get this like rock and roll like word filler on my legs. So,
Yeah.
So like I said, I got rock here. He just totally free-handed it, and
And that rocks.
yeah, it just like he like just like no gloves, just wiped it like in the most. It's like everything.
Oh my god.
Everything you could do bad about like doing a tattoo, like
Yeah, it's quick and dirty.
guideline-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually touched it up a little bit after, so the letters are all complete. But originally, like half the C was kind of like
Falling off.
chunked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny. It's got a good story to it. It's pretty much healed up at this point. It's just
Yeah,
a little
no,
line
it's
where
good.
he's
Yeah.
like, he was like, you can go swimming with us right now. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Oh wow, yeah.
Not literally, but
Yeah, he probably shouldn't.
No.
Saltwater.
So
Saltwater, yeah.
it's good.
Wow, that's tight.
But yeah, man, just for the meme.
What song was it during? Do you
Do you know?
remember?
Yeah.
I do. I was we actually played a song. We added another song to the set because we were gonna do it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
No, it was during God. It was during God
It was
Complex.
during God Complex,
Hell yeah.
and Joey made an announcement. He was like, "I'm gonna get tattooed during this song. Like, Rob, come on stage." And there was just dead silence. He wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I
we're
was
like,
like-
all right, we're gonna play this song. If someone wants to go get Rob,
I was like, man, I really thought we'd have a better reaction for me getting tattooed.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fun.
And then like it perked up a little bit, but then when it started happening, like the whole room was like, there's a million videos of it.
of
people,
course,
like, doing it.
yeah.
I'm like,
Every angle.
you're obviously this is funny for your entertainment.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's
You can react. It's fine. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's just I was like, I mean, I'm just being a ham, so it's not that deep. But like, it was funny to be like, I'm gonna get tattooed, and like just nothing. I was like,
Oh.
all right,
You're taking the stage act to the next level.
tough crowd.
You're like trying to do more like crowd work in your pop punk set.
Yeah, we're trying to fit crowd work. It's a little more performance art.
Yeah.
We've watched too much Kill Tony.
That's pretty
Of
much it. You're
course,
trying to translate a 4-hour medium to your half-hour set.
Yeah.
And it works.
We got time for one more. We got time for one more.
I said one more, buddy. So what song did you guys add to the set to make that? Was it a new song?
No.
no, it was Summer Feeling.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
sick,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we weren't gonna play it, but had to break it out.
Yeah, it kind of it's been coming in and
It's-
out.
That song is literally the break in case of emergency. The
Yeah.
emergency glass song.
If the set's going well too, it's not always like an emergency. Like we have to change something up. Like where if it's going well, we'll put it back in. It's like the second biggest song off the first EP we put out.
Yes.
It's a little lighter. It's a little sugary. A lot of the newer material, and we're gonna dive into, is obviously like a bit. It's a bit heavier. It's a bit more aggressive. It's a bit
Oh,
more.
yeah.
A little more drop D. Sounds
I mean,
so
that for lack
sounds
of
so
a
bad
better
saying it that way.
phrase, yeah.
But no, it's just like the direction where the band's going is a little further away from that type of sound. So
Sure.
you know, while it's not that deep, but at our level, like we like to keep the set like coherent. So you know, kind of picking and choosing when we can play something like that might go over better. And we play a lot of hardcore shows,
Yeah.
which is nice. I
The
love
whole
doing
kind
that.
of throwdown thing.
Yeah,
what's the
Takedown Records.
Takedown,
Yeah,
excuse
Takedown's
me.
really good to us
I'm
with like helping us
stupid,
out with
yeah.
anytime
Yeah,
something comes
Takedown's
through.
sick.
Salties especially.
Right, of course.
You know, we've played something pretty wild in Western Mass, and like anytime we're playing like a heavier show, we'll cater the set a little bit to that. And
Yeah.
that the song's like the first to get kind of axed, you know. But
Sure, 'cause it's, on the lighter end.
Giant, I love it, so
Yeah, of
we don't mind
course.
playing it. You know, I think it's good. That's like our. I always say that's like our American Pie like soundtrack song. you
Yeah,
know?
it gets flack a lot of times from certain people, but that is probably the song that most people have come up and said is their favorite song, like the most often.
It's got more of a
So,
broader appeal than
for
anything,
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's not. Yeah, it's a bright. You know, it's a very early 2000s. You know, Blink-esque
Sure.
type of thing. All American Rejects-esque type of thing. Like we really nailed that kind of vibe on that. So
But it doesn't feel like out of place, like in any way. I feel like there's a logical like progression there from like early 2000s pop punk to like early 2000s like post-hardcore.
which is
kind of.
definitely where we're like sitting
Yeah.
in, especially, and all the newer stuff is very like post-hardcore and a little bit, which is nice. Like I really like that, and that was actually one of the original visions I had for this project before it was even this project. I literally was talking to my coworker one day, and I was like, "Man, I really want to do a band like Finch," and like it was just
Yeah,
so.
okay,
It was before
yeah.
Johnny and I even talked about this thing, so. It's funny that we've ended up going there.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, shout out Summer Feeling. Definitely
It's a banger.
a good spot in our hearts for it. But we played that to save some time so we can get our boy Rob out there to tattoo me during a song called God Complex, which is it's a sleeper on the second EP.
Yeah. I think they're all great.
Yeah, of the
my
three songs,
God.
it's a sleeper.
Oh my god.
It's a deep cut on our,
That's what-
on our
that's what-
3-song
track
EP.
3 out of 3.
Yeah, it is track three. Yeah, no, it really is track 3 out of
'cause
3.
it's, yeah, I was actually just listening to it on the way here. Belmar Bridge, Vices, and God Comp. And, like,
Yeah,
all
hell yeah.
three, yeah, like are great.
Yeah, we I feel like
Thanks.
God Complex. God Complex is gonna have its day in the sun, even if we do something further with it on a bigger release. Like we
Sure.
really love that song. There's something about that song kind of set the tone for. I even say that song set the tone for the rest of where all of our new material. Like it's for definitely. I don't think Nothing Left to Save kind of happens, or we feel comfortable with it without
Yeah.
putting something out like God Complex.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that is why it's such an important tune. But see, we're going on a tangent already. That was
That's
the
good,
tune.
yeah, that's good.
I got tattooed during that song. Go listen to God
Yes.
Complex.
That was-
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut the clip so it's just the beginning and the end.
End of it.
No, I'm kidding. Did you show us that song in your car? Like
Oh,
me
no,
and Nick. You showed us like the demo.
What he showed us when we were
No.
walking to see Green Day was
It was Belmar Bridge. Yeah, it was the
No,
Belmar
I'm
Bridge
thinking
demo.
even after that open mic night we were at, where you did stand up.
Yeah.
Oh,
You showed us.
Maybe.
You might be right. That
I-
might have
it-
been.
it
Gump.
Oh, it
definitely
might have been
existed.
Rough Mix. It might have been a Rough
It
might
Mix.
have
definitely
been a rough
existed.
mix.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah, it
showed
was
you
in his
guys
car, you're
after
right.
See Here Now. I showed you guys Belmar Bridge, the
That was
demo.
Belmar
Yeah,
Bridge
yeah,
because I remember you're like, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna play this live. Then now
I
you can
still-
play.
Yeah, Rip Live.
I've only played it live correctly, like the way on the record is literally once or twice. It's very hard.
I mean, it's still sick.
You
Like,
have to be getting
good enough for
tattooed
rock
while
and
you're
roll.
playing, otherwise you're like, I don't know what.
I have to sit down.
Yeah, you need the buzzing to be able to tap that riff out.
It's tough. Yeah, that
It's a tricky lick.
shout out Belmar Bridge.
That's a
my
great
favorite.
song.
That's my favorite. That's my single favorite guitar riff I've ever written in my life. Which to everyone hearing this for the first time is not going to have any context for that, or think that that's important. That's not a good enough criteria. But
I think it's a great criteria. You've been playing music a long time.
long enough where hopefully I can write a cool riff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was just about me trying to. I really wanted. We recorded with Matt Lags, our homie Matt Lags, in Long Island, and he's really into a band called As Cities Burn.
Of course, yeah.
And they do a lot of tapping stuff. And
Yep.
every time we'd be recording something or trying to work a lead out, because I love leaving space for leads, he would just be like, yo, why don't you try this? And it's always like a tap. Like one of the things you throw out of the lexicon of stuff is there's one tapping piece in there. And I'm always like, man, like that's not me. I can't play that. I don't do that. Let's not do that. And I part of me would feel a little bad because I'm actually like a little jealous. Like I can't play that. And that's like my thing. So
Yeah.
that riff was me proving to myself like, all right, I'm going to be the tapping guy now.
Yeah.
And then I like committed too hard. I'm like, I can't play this live.
Yeah, Matt is an unbelievably talented guitar player. He was in Giants at Large for
No
ever
way.
back in the day.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah, if
where
you
we
guys
met
know.
him.
I do. Half the times that I saw them was with Batten, so it
Probably
makes
Major
sense.
League
makes
too. A
sense.
bunch.
Major League, yeah.
But yeah,
Was it the with the punches? Wait, were
No,
all
they-
the
that-
Giants
probably.
Probably wasn't on that
No,
show.
but Major League was. I
Major
think
League was.
Handguns might have
State
been
champs.
State champs.
State
was on
champs,
that, too.
yeah.
We played. I'm thinking.
Though with the punches
there's
farewell
also-
show.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
also
the Lanes.
we played the Lanes
Yeah.
of Transit
I was there.
too.
Yeah,
was-
that show was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Transit show.
Yeah, the Lanes was Transit and Such Gold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Asbury Lanes, the old
Dude,
lanes.
The old lanes.
Yo, shout out the new lanes though. It's gonna get a lot of.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone hears this, it's gonna get a lot of hate for that. But like the company that runs the lanes, like I get it. But the people that run the lanes, phenomenal. All my friends,
Yeah.
production staff, everyone behind the scenes there. So, shout out to the new lanes. All the same. But
Old
OG
lanes.
Asbury Lanes.
There's history. There's
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Where was that Thanksgiving show you had the poster to
Dude,
in your room?
that
They were
was
on that, right?
They were on. You guys were on the second thing.
Red Bank rehearsal.
Red Bank
for,
rehearsal.
Oh my god!
That
yeah.
was our first final show.
Our first
as
last
Batten
Batten show,
Hatches.
yeah.
You guys turned off the lights during one
Yes.
of the breakdowns.
No, I think that was a
was the
mistake.
first-
or was that a different?
No, that was us. But
definitely
that was a
us.
mistake. No.
I think it was during the first song because we used to bring we bought these 3 like high powered like halogen lamps from Home Depot.
Yes.
And we used to bring them to all of our shows, and
With
we had our
foot switches.
our bass player Brian would have the foot switch, and he would hit it whenever we would like drop in. I think that show he either forgot to hit it or it just didn't work. So when we dropped in, just nothing happened.
Lights
No,
off.
the light. I remember we played with we played Jason the breakdown and something happened. Like we turned the lights off and they stayed off or something.
Is that what it
Mistake.
was?
Yeah, because
That
it was
might-
like
It was a long
I remember
time
we were
ago.
like going to a breakdown and
ignorant.
it was
It was
like
awesome.
It was like the easy core days. We were going to a breakdown and the lights were supposed to come back on and they didn't and we played the beginning of the breakdown and it was just pitch dark. It was probably legitimately dangerous
Oh, yeah.
at that time.
It's fine.
I'm glad you guys brought it up because I was going through my collection of things and I found this.
Oh
Wow.
hell yeah!
A classic. I have a couple of these. Still.
Designed by me.
Yeah,
That's
it's
unbelievable.
sorry, it's
The
upside
PCH,
down.
like,
The
it's all right.
It's,
classic Sega. Yeah.
That was in
Incredible.
Photoshop CS5
Wow.
for anybody that physically bought the disc
Oh,
of
wow.
the Adobe Creative Cloud back in the
Not
day.
following, Straight Jacket Feeling is mostly comprised of members of Batten and the Hatches, which
Yeah.
is almost all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I've
cool.
been-
You still have that though.
Yeah, dude. I I'm a hoarder, so I like collect a lot of things and keep them in like one place. So I had like a stash of stickers, and I have a guitar case that I already have stickers on, and then I had and that was time to go. So I got a new case, and I was like, oh, I got to put stickers on this thing. And as I was going through, I'm like, oh my god. And like, there's like history through like a lot of bands. I think I have a Giants at Large sticker somewhere in there. Like like a lot of the bands that I used to see at the time. You guys used to play with. Like,
Yeah.
it
The
was
old
crazy.
scene, dude. That scene runs deep. I still, to this day, talk to people. I mean, I think I went on a date with a girl a year or two ago, and we were chatting. I didn't know her from anything, but then somehow it came up that she was like she was at all those shows, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I play Batten and the Hatches, and it was like, oh, I've seen you guys, whatever. Like the roots of that scene
Yeah.
run so deep, still to this day, as full adults. So, yeah, the 2012 pop punk scene is, is undefeated.
Absolutely.
Out in New Jersey.
Without a doubt. It was a great time. And I think it was kind of formative to like for you guys to be here now with like Straight Jacket Feeling. I think it kind of like again was like a logical progression for you guys. You guys had to do that and like sow the seeds that way to like do what you're doing now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so we had our reunion show a couple years ago. It was like
Yep.
that was like our final Batten show. I don't think we'll ever do it again. That show was like it felt like closing that chapter in like the best way.
Yeah, we couldn't even top it. I don't think if we wanted to, really.
But I mean, before that,
Was
we
that
had
the New Lanes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We hadn't played a show as Batten in like 7 years before that. And at that show, I was like thinking about it. We only were Batten for 3 years.
That's crazy.
It felt like
yeah,
a
we
lot
did talk
longer.
about that. Yeah, we did talk about that. We
Yeah.
feel like we had a lot of we
It was
made a
like
lot of
2011 to 14 was the actual run, but we just did so much in that time that it felt like way longer.
Yeah, we were part of. I mean, we were part of some, like at least locally, and I'm talking. Like that. This isn't gonna resonate for people outside of the central New Jersey music
Sure.
scene. So it is what it is. But we definitely were kind of part of a new at the time the new generation of like local bands. At
Yep.
the time, we very quickly went from. I'm still used to just being like the 16-year-old kid on the outside that like. Is a kid at the shows and no one gives a shit about what I'm doing or my little like high school band. So I still feel like that probably permanently. But we went very quickly to being that, then when we formed that band, like we found ourselves just like packing shows out. People were really giving a shit, and like people I've never met before were starting to come, and it was just like it happened really fast for us. But then it happened it was so consistent for that little run of years where we ended up just knowing everybody, because it just a scene ended up forming around that sound. So it was this little thing where we were the right sound at the right time too. We didn't realize it. We were just kids playing what we knew, but I know we did something right. Like I'm proud of that in terms of we did something right when we were kids, and that was cool. And I think we made playing that reunion show just to do it for a lot of reasons, even if one of them is just straight nostalgia, which is fine, totally valid.
Of course.
I got to see we really were part of a lot of other people's maybe their high school experience, going to shows or whatever it was, their like time in the music scene, and made me appreciate like that. Yeah, we had a short run of that band, but I don't know, we somehow did it. We did enough where we were really the background for a lot of people's I don't know, like foray into the music scene for the first time maybe and stuff. So, and a lot of younger bands under us, we got to kind of play like the little Big Brother role, I guess, but only because I didn't have that when I was a kid. Like when I was like 14, I had some mentors, but there wasn't really a lot of bands, full on bands that were cool to us to the point where showing us the ropes and what to do. And I always felt like I was on the outside. So when I was in that position, when even a bunch of, it was like, we're talking about our homies that were like 15 years old, and we're like 17, 18.
Sure.
These kids are like 15, 16, but they're like want to put shows on and just want to learn how to do it and whatever, and just kind of how to be and asking for us for advice and whatever. I was happy to just try to show them whatever we knew, just to be the thing we didn't have. So at the end of the day, we all get older and all evens out, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Some of those kids that we play with are doing way bigger stuff than us, and straight up, you know what I mean? And that's how it should be, like good.
Yeah, like if you grind enough, it's like you end up, or get lucky or do whatever, like.
I've seen it. Yeah, we've seen it all.
Yeah.
I've seen people just straight grinded it. I mean, shout out, Tyler, Safe Face.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's like the shining example.
Just straight. That's just an example of just straight grinding.
Yeah.
That just doesn't. You don't stop. You don't quit. You don't. You don't change. You don't change your course, and then you don't live or die with the music scene, and then look at where you're at now. So that's like one great example of that. Our homies in America Part 2. They were in younger bands, obviously. Alex and Freddie, and like same kind of thing. I mean, they were just kids, and now they're touring a lot and they're hustling a lot with their band, and they're always on the road, and they're doing a lot of stuff that I'm even like I find myself going to Alex sometimes being like, yo man, how are you balancing this or doing that, and I'm a little older than him, and you think I would have some of those answers, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's not. Yeah,
it no longer
it's all
matters.
relative, and like you can find out certain things at a different point, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that just, I don't know. We're getting a little tangent. We can talk about so much, obviously, but
it all relates.
I think the story of Straight Jacket Feeling tied to Batten is important in terms of that, and we're all just kind of like, I don't know, a very intrinsic part of the music scene here, people have also still like treated us that way with this new band, which is very nice. Like we got nothing to like stand on or nothing to like kind of, we have nothing to really be like, I don't know what the word is, like rest on our laurels on. I don't know what the word is here.
Yeah.
Like we can't be like, oh, we were in that band, so therefore like this band's going to be good, and you have to listen. It's like it's not
like a legacy thing.
Yeah, it's not that. No, it's not that. But around here, at least we, it still kind of carries the same like, I don't know, energy for us. I don't know how to explain it.
It's a very like hardcore, like classic hardcore band thing to do is like, oh, you existed for like 3 years, you put out like a couple records, and then like that like carried weight for a lot of people, and then you bounce off into something like really sick that maybe is like longer lasting, and like No,
we should just put like 1 7-inch and then broke up, and
exactly.
then be like, and then our merch would be like a lot of money on like Depop and stuff when it comes up, that would be awesome.
You can still buy the Batten Down the Hatches Random Holiday 7-inch off Ice Grills in Japan.
No shit.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
I have it. Yeah.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
My fiance's brother just went on his honeymoon in Japan, and I looked up like their web store because I was like, I wonder if that's like still there, and it was still on their web store. I was
That's
like,
insane.
Should try to find it.
No shit.
Does
Yeah.
Random Holiday still exist? No way.
Right?
They don't. But shout out Mike Frazier. He's the boy. Love Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Mike. Yeah.
Okay,
That's our homie.
You talk about him.
Yeah. He's just one of our best friends now. It just is what it is.
Yeah, we were just talking yesterday. The first interaction we ever had with Mike was literally just via Facebook Messenger, like 13 years ago now. So just being still friends with him is super cool, and seeing him do his thing.
Yeah,
great.
just start a band if anyone's hearing this. If anyone's listening to this that isn't involved in the music scene somehow, if that happens on your algorithm or whatever this is, or however this gets to you, just start a band, man. You like, if you're young, start a band, do it. Like, we've made a lot of like literally lifelong friends, and that's just, it's not a unique thing.
Sure.
That's how it always works in
music. Yeah,
it's just it's really a good side effect of doing this whole thing.
Beautifully said. What was I gonna say? Oh, it's like one of those things like right now where it's like if I'm listening to a podcast and like a bunch of people like throwing out names, I'm like, oh, I gotta Google like all this shit. It's like hopefully like that's someone's listening. Like I don't know what exactly these bands are or those people, but like it's time for me to like.
I feel like this podcast was.
Yeah, put the blue links in.
Yeah, I feel like this podcast is going to be, and it probably is going to be about our new single and doing a deep dive for that.
And
but
definitely, I mean,
we got a little bit of the lore of this is now a Central Jersey lore podcast. So,
Dude, this guy's so meta. He's putting footnotes in.
Yeah, dude, that's what I do.
Love it.
Dude, I feel like it it contextualizes everything though. Like I'm big on like lore and context because it like informs where we're at now, and like. Same with like the back catalog for Straight Jacket Feeling, definitely pointing towards the newest single.
Yeah, like why does it exist?
Exactly.
Or how does this exist?
Yeah.
Out of what we were,
100%.
Or where we're going.
Yeah, and Joey and I have been doing music together since we were teenagers, but we took a long time just off from doing music just because life and being an adult. So this band was just a good way to just be creative. Again, I think for both of us in that genre that we were both like comfortable growing up doing.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot to say about that kind of synergy, but I will save it for. You have to edit all my uhs out. I'm like,
dude.
that's my like horrible.
Say
thing.
the digress, do whatever you got to do.
I want to save the synergy conversation for maybe something related to the song. You know what I mean? Because I can speak on it generally. So let me give you a real time example of it.
So
You want to just roll right in?
Yeah, let's roll right into that because like I love the song. I've listened to it a lot, and I'm curious to like where. I mean, I know where it came from, but like where is it pointing towards? Like, are we talking like, is there more like that, or is there some variation on like what's to come?
There's a lot more like that. Yeah.
Just
like there's nothing left to say like sonically. There's a lot more like that. I mean, just everything from the style, the vibe, the energy. Maybe the influences at play. Even the amount of there's more screaming. There's definitely a lot more screaming. There's a lot more aggressivity here and there. I mean, all those elements, I think, thinking about our current demos we're sitting on, there's a whole record of that just sitting right now, with us, which is it's cool. It's great. I mean, it's awesome. We've kind of shifted a little bit from maybe, 2000. Like I always joke like this band's genre is like 2003, or something like that.
Yeah, like that's the year. When I think of it, that's the year.
They're like, what genre? I'm like, it's 2003. It's like Drive Through Records and
it speaks to it.
But I've been saying now, I'm like, yeah, we kind of were that, and maybe early 2000s like Drive Through Records kind of thing. A lot of pop punk in there, a lot of emo in there. It's still a lot of emo in there. It's always going to be, but we got a little post-hardcore sneaking in. We got a little more like maybe we're like a little 2006 now. I always joke. I always joke like we sound like we're like the Journey's Left Foot stage at Warped Tour.
Wow.
Not that Kevin says. We'll be bigger than that. We're not main yet, but we're like the Journey's Left Foot, know?
That completely makes sense.
Decent slot, like a 4 p.m. slot, you know what I mean? Like,
make it to the Monster stage one day.
Yeah. You can still catch us in the amphitheater sometimes, it's like, it's cool.
I feel like for anyone that was there, like it makes sense. Like that's
the energy like we just have, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I'm like if we get to 2008, we've gone too far.
Sure.
So as long as we keep it, before then.
Dude, that's like that was like the stuff I grew up. Even though I was a little late to it, like that was the stuff I really like came up on, in the scene on. So like it kind of really there's a nostalgia factor for sure. I mean, that's the whole like ethos of it, but like,
oh yeah, I mean, I
feel like it resonates with me. I think it resonates with like a lot of people.
We all grew up on that. I mean, like big touching bands for a lot of that stuff is obviously for me. It's a lot of Finch, but also like Hawthorne Heights has been really big for us, especially.
I was hesitant. I was gonna mention them, but
no,
I
don't care if we get. I don't care if we get flack for that. Like
no,
Hawthorne
some
Heights is
people
the
it
shit.
puts a
Like,
sour taste.
those
but I
first
think
2
it's
records
sick.
are awesome.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? There's really awesome. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And also like, listen, say what you want about. I'm not gonna have a debate about screamo or anything like that. Like I don't care to have that. But I mean, the way that I was introduced to like screaming in music was Hawthorne Heights, straight up. Like that was the most mainstream way to get into when I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
And we all heard Ohio is for Lovers, and I was like, I didn't know music can sound like this. You know what I mean? And that like makes a little imprint on you. And then that style and the way that they were doing it, the way that Casey, Rip was doing it, like I think set the kind of blueprint, And then like AFI also came out with like December Underground, which
big. Johnny
and I love, which was again. I'm sure 1,000,001 people are gonna be like, dude, that's not like the AFI record to like whatever. It's like, but that's what was massive when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, it's not Black Sails. Like, yeah, no, it's not. But like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah. AFI, Atreyu, Linkin Park.
Yep.
Anything on Project Revolution tour 2008 is what it was.
That's the secret. That's the secret to our brand of emo right now is just a little bit of metalcore, which is like gonna sound what it sounds like, but the secret sauce to this whole song and everything coming up is that I've been listening, like revisiting Atreyu and Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah.
And I will stand on this that the first Bullet for My Valentine record is just an emo album with a little too much like guitar solos. But if you take out the guitar solos of that first Bullet for My Valentine record, like Hawthorne Heights would love to have written that. The Poison.
The Poison, yeah.
The Poison. I'm sorry. Again, you can meme it all you want. It's all good. Like I get it, but there's just some dude like it's just so sick. There's like some really sick moments in there. A lot of clean parts, a lot of clean singing, and I just feel like a lot of those riffs and that kind of thing. If you just take a little bit of like the Sonic the Hedgehog, crazy guitar solo sound and stuff out of that, it's a great emo album.
Dude, that's so fun. It's funny that you say that too, because there was when I was recording the first Nameling EP, guy played like leads on it, and there was like a point where I'm like, yeah, like I want the like this like lead to like kind of sound like Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, I don't want that. I don't want the
No, dude, I was embracing it at the time, so I was like, it is like, but the fact that you mentioned it by name is like there is like a thought, there's an idea that goes with that. Like you can say it, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to shred with like this, but like
no, I know what you mean though.
I think what it is like we're touching upon that time in music in the alternative music scene where if any of it was big and accessible, like we were into it. So regardless, we didn't care as much if it was like emo, if it was a little metal, if it was whatever. It was all just like when you're 13 or whatever, like you don't care. You're just taking everything in. So a lot of those bands are nostalgic for me that I'm not sure I would sit down today and give a band like that a shot. Like a contemporary like that. Do you know what I mean? I think that I'm a little more like, I'm into this, so I'm going to look for this. Like when you're younger, you just take it all in and you grow up with it, and then I don't know, like you're not as strict when you're a kid. You don't have those like weird societal like, kind of things of like, oh, is it cool to like this band? Like who cares, dude?
Yeah. It's like, I think this rocks.
Yeah, like it rips, So that's kind of what I think maybe that era, why we're touching that era of music, for Nothing Left to Save.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you mentioned Project Revolution, because I'm an like archival nut, and I had like a thing, like I logged a ton of the concerts I went to growing up on concert archives. I got an email today, 16 years ago today, I went to Project Revolution 2008.
Damn.
I was there too.
Dude, that was sick.
It was Linkin Park.
Yep.
Chris Cornell.
Yep. Atreyu played that day.
Atreyu played. I watched them in the parking lot. There were like 2 stages.
Yeah,
yep.
they rocked.
The Bravery played.
The Bravery did play.
Dude, that's a band I love that band
was
so much.
That was a great show. It poured rain.
Yeah.
I think if I remember, I was on the lawn.
During like one of the bigger bands. Was it?
I think it was Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
But yeah, it all makes sense. Like 100. That fest was like phenomenal.
How many years ago today?
16. Yeah. I'm so sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. 20 years
I think
ago,
that's probably
I saw
how old
Linkin
I
Park.
was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
When
2004 Project Revolution.
No, 2008.
Are you?
I was like
15?
10 years old.
Dude,
yeah.
oh my
That was
God.
my first show, yeah.
Oh,
Your
actually,
first
no,
show
you're
ever?
right. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like Linkin Park. They brought out Jay-Z.
Oh
'cause they
my
were doing
God.
the collab.
I
graduated in 11,
saw
so-
that too. Not
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Project Revolution, but so the first concert I ever had, like I asked my parents to take me to, was Linkin Park. They're like my all-time favorite band.
Yeah.
And I got to see them for the first time at Madison Square Garden.
Oh.
And they brought Jay-Z out for the second encore.
Yeah.
So they did their first encore, came out for the second encore, played like Numb Encore, Gigawatt Faint. Insane. Core memory to this day.
Yeah, no,
Oh
that
my God,
literally,
dude.
that was my first band.
I
was, like,
envy you guys to have
obsessed
seen
with.
that.
Like I was just telling the story the other day. I was at my neighbor's house playing video games, and his older brother was watching Live in Texas, and I literally was like, "What is this? I need this."
Yeah.
And that was just like my whole summer. Was
Live in
that.
Texas is iconic.
Yeah. Oh, it's still.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah, I've been ripping because they did the whole Meteora like 20-year anniversary last year. I've been ripping it like once every couple months. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God.
I definitely didn't get the deluxe vinyl of Meteora 20th
really?
anniversary,
Oh, yeah.
or the hoodie,
Yeah.
or the T-shirt.
Now keep it rolling. All
Definitely
of it.
didn't.
Song
Yeah.
is
Yeah, the
so
whole
good,
the whole
man.
set.
You can't. You're not getting better.
I'm a very
vocals.
casual Linkin Park fan.
Out
Very-
of all the band,
You're the
out of all
most
the
normal
bands
Linkin Park
we've been repping this podcast, I think like Chester Bennington has the best vocals out
Yeah.
of all of them. Like we're like
100%.
just the soft sweetness to like how crazy crunchy the growls are.
He
and
can do
everything.
So dynamic.
He can do it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, I can't add more to that.
I
I
was
mean,
gonna- I was
no,
like,
I
what
just-
you gotta say?
no, he's just got. There's like that moment he does like the not scream, but then the not's like the crunch voice. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like it's like the numb chorus, like that. When he hits that chorus, like that's like the
That's
you're
just
making $1 million.
the grip.
Yeah.
Like the minute you hit that, I'm like, you're gonna make so much money off.
What's even
this
weirder
voice.
is like think about like like would they form in like '97 or something? Let's just say, and like having a band like that on like local bills.
Yeah.
It's like who thinks that? Yeah, we're gonna have like so we have like one guitar, a DJ, like
If we
two singers.
if we played a show in this day and age and saw that, we would be like,
I'm leaving.
hell
Yeah.
are these guys?
Yeah,
Although-
no, like they're setting up.
I'm not gonna lie, for Belmar Bridge, we did try to get someone to come in to actually put some real scratches
We did.
on
Really?
in the
Yeah,
breakdown
it was-
part. Yeah.
We thought of it like a little too late. We thought of it like 2 days before we went to the studio.
It would be
Oh,
like the
man.
sickest little Easter egg.
Instead of
you
just
know?
doing like splice samples.
No, you gotta
No,
the
you
a real
gotta get
scratch
Joe
it.
Hahn in there to actually scratch it up.
Yeah, yeah. We
just for the
no, we
bridge.
didn't want to do splice sample. No, we didn't want to splice. I wanted to do like we're gonna get like a real person. We literally almost had someone come through like straight up.
That's
that
crazy.
like does do it and would have been sick.
I feel like we need a Belmar Bridge like remix and have it like
with just
Yeah,
that one part.
the Straight Jacket Reanimation album.
Yo,
Dude,
we
hold
want to do like
on,
some kind of messed up Gundam on the cover.
that'd be
It would be
kinda
so
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I really would do that. I would geek out about that so hard. I want to do like a alternate version, kind of EP of just like one of each, a couple tunes from each EP and stuff. I really have
That
some
would be
good ideas.
Yeah.
I just love like alternate versions of stuff and different imaginations of things.
Certainly.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole other episode. We could talk about Belmar Bridge and do a whole other episode. On
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Truly.
exactly.
Um,
There's all like I feel like there's already like for just like specifically Straight Jacket feeling. I feel like there's already like so much like well I guess it goes for any band, but, like so much lore. Like there's already layers to like everything that you've done, include like Belmar Bridge. Like
there's a lot of weight to just like the levels we're at as artists putting music out. Like we're not like signed to a label that's like, all right, you need to write 50 songs. We're going to cut it down to 10. Like when you write a song that's good enough for the four of you to be like, we're going to be proud of this and like put artwork together and go record it or even demo it. Like that means something. That's why you don't have like 60 songs that don't mean anything to you. You have 10 that are like,
Yeah.
you're really into and you want to play every show and like stand by and like grow off of.
Yeah, I think. I mean, our whole band is like this, but I think Joey and I also we're so critical about all of our music things that like if we're both not like completely signed off on it, like it just like doesn't feel right.
sure.
yeah.
So I think that's why our focus really has been like lower quantity, hopefully higher quality.
Yeah. We're also not overwriters. Like I actually feel self-conscious about that as a songwriter. There's artists that just are just it makes me feel like this person's born to do this and like I'm not or something when I see someone and this is just like a real internal thought.
No,
like,
quality over quality.
but when someone just like is
100%
able to
of the
write,
time.
like it flex that muscle like day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I know people in the scene that like are that active and that like crazy with like songwriting. It's just for me, it's always been more of like it has to come. And sometimes I can coax, and I've been really way better at just like flexing the muscle just to flex it when it comes
Yep.
to songwriting, and the stuff that never even makes it out. But yeah, with like the output of the bands I'm in, like we've always been like, it really needs to, we got to resonate. It's got to come to us. We got to see it through. I am really good, and Johnny's we're also really good in a pinch. Which sucks because we're not overriders, so we've 100%. This is like one of the many times, with nothing left to say, but one of the many times in our careers as any band we've ever been in that goes to the studio and we're like, the lyrics are not done. And the words just aren't there yet, and or I'm doing it like in between sessions and stuff, and like, or Johnny's doing it literally on the spot and finishing it there. Like but we are good in the pinch, and I think having that pressure actually, like, I don't know, it just makes us like actually like really get the juices moving, which it sucks. I don't like that. Like,
Dude, I'm exactly the same way. This is like kind of the sort of initial like onus of the podcast, like talking about process. And whenever this comes up, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm exactly in your camp where like it comes when it comes, and then until I'm in a pinch. I've gone to the studio like half a dozen times. I'm like, most of these songs are like, done, but like there's a couple of these I'm like, I don't have this verse or this bridge. There's like half a hook here, like, and then I was like, well, we have to do it now. Like, we're in the studio, we got to do it. So you do.
Yeah, when you're in the studio, it's do or die. Essentially, you're there. You gotta do it.
Especially when we're dropping, respectable money on some of the stuff. We, I mean, yeah, I don't want to. There's lots to go into, obviously. So with nothing left to say, like we did it with we did it up at Timber Studios with Adam.
The guy, yeah.
And I'm saying Timber Studios with Adam because I think I still confidently can't pronounce his last name.
So it's funny you said this.
It is Chioski.
It's Chioski, right?
I texted him yesterday specifically to get the correct pronunciation. And you guys are right. It is Chihotski.
Yeah, Chioski.
Chihotski?
I can't tell you
I've been
how
saying
many years.
Sahaki for like...
Yeah, no,
And
it's
this
not
is
your
exactly
fault.
why
Adam,
I texted him. So
Adam,
if
we love you.
this,
We love
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
he sent me it phonetically texted out and a voice memo.
That is, wow.
So-
Incredible.
He's thorough.
He's something.
We went to Adam for this song. I think we wanted to change it up a little bit. Wanted to work in Jersey. We wanted to, we kind of knew of his work through our best friend Brian, who interned there for a while, and I just felt, you know what, it was going to be a good fit. It worked out scheduling wise, and and all that, and we got to do that for like I think 2 days or so, 2-3 days. I think we came back, right? We also
we got there Saturday morning, came back Sunday night.
but we also came back again.
No, that was it.
That was it.
Wow.
Didn't we get I thought
No, that was it.
Did you know Adam like from back in the day too, like from other bands? Or?
I know he was in Gatherers
Yeah.
and such, but I didn't have a personal relationship with him. I just knew, I knew of him.
I think
through
that was
all
our first time physically meeting him.
Oh yeah, and
Oh, wow.
he is obviously, goes without saying, like his touch on the song was, made it what it is. His quality of his recording is incredible. I mean, that song this song was made to be recorded by him. It really.
Do you feel like you had more parts like going in beforehand, and he kind of simplified it up, or like he added more stuff?
He definitely. I mean,
Both.
right off the bat, like you have the demo, obviously, but the whole. So, I mean, I don't know if we want to start getting into like the actual like song itself, but
Do
like,
whatever,
yeah, rip it
wherever
up,
the energy
yeah.
is.
so, the song initially, I just wrote the riff that's in the intro of the song, and when I brought it to the band, I was like, I have this riff. It's kind of like a metal riff, whatever. And it got kind of clowned because, like, in the demo version, the original version, it was very much like an 80s, like, metal, like, big drum hits. Like, you'll hear it in the demo. It's, like, kind of silly.
Yeah, you gotta play that clip of the intro.
So going, like, back to Adam actually producing it, when we got to the studio, he was like, yeah, I think you guys should do this. And he showed us, like, the version that is actually, like, recorded. He basically just, like, took half of what the intro was and then just brought the drop in after the main riff.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
it was
He lopped a lot of it off.
Yeah.
the intro was like 2/3 longer in the demo.
But it's it's
Okay.
funny. It's in a way it's like slightly different rhythmically. It's not like he just like it's not like we're just going there and this is a thing I harp on about songwriting that we've learned, and this is the number one. This is the number. Maybe the top two things that I can ever say any artist, any musician, anyone at the local like DIY level, writing songs and getting into this is like your songs have too much fat.
Sure.
I'm telling you right now, I don't need to. If you're at this level, there's a good chance your songs just have too much fat. Our songs have too much fat forever. It wasn't until we started going into like producers of like a higher caliber that we learned very quickly, like, oh man, dude, we don't need to have even like half of the stuff that we have going on, right? And now, Johnny and I are very conscientious to that. So it's just funny. We go in, and it's like we got this like very elongated, elaborate, kind of theatrical metal riff. It's a little ridiculous. Like, it's a little ridiculous, right? We're like letting it fly in the demo, but it's like a little ridiculous. It's not that he just lopped it off in half. Like, it rhythmically is a little different. Like it's just like spliced in a way where it's like, hey, do it here and here, and it just goes right to the point.
Yeah. I think the vibe of how it is now kind of adds like the tone of almost like desperation to the whole song.
It's like urgent.
Oh, yeah.
It's urgent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's way more urgent. I think before it was like, that's a good way of putting it. I think before the riff, when you do a grandiose.
Before it was literally like, Kevin's like spinning his drumstick like during the intro.
Yeah,
Like,
we're like grandstanding. It's like it's not like Iron Maiden. I don't know how to explain. It would be like I don't know, like
like a hair,
like Scorpions
metal
or
kinda.
something.
For context, right before I wrote that riff, I had seen like Mike Hem play like, one of their reunion shows.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay.
Like, as a kid, I worshipped Ray Toro, their guitar player.
He's
like,
phenomenal.
worshipped him. And after that show, I was like I want to write a song like, like Thank You for the Venom.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
that was just kind of what came out, and
I mean, it is theatrical, It's
For
like,
sure.
No, the riff is
For
definitely
sure.
theatrical. It just like stuck out. But like Johnny made a great point. It has this energy of like we're like grandstanding and we're like setting the stage up. But then the way that it was cut does have and the way that it jumps into the actual bigger drop in with the big instrumental part, definitely is more like urgent and immediate.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the fucking point. And not only are we getting to the point, but like the message that needs to be conveyed. It can't wait any longer. It's got to go. So I think that's a really cool way of putting that.
I think that's kind of part of like, one of the big reasons like working with a producer like Adam is like so beneficial. It's like, oh, like this is already a cool thing you have, but like we can definitely make this better. And like, I think every time Adam comes up, I bring this up because like I find it like astounding. Like, no, very few people I know at all have like the musical vocabulary he's got. So he comes in, you go in with him, and he's like, oh, like I've got some kind of frame of reference for like we should do this.
yeah. When I sent him the demo, like a week before he went in the studio, he was immediately sending me videos of him like playing it on piano.
Yeah,
stuff, like,
that was like the biggest thing, right? Like we're like,
I feel like we've gone to a lot of producers that are like so hands off, and like you go in, and like we would essentially just produce the songs ourselves, and like the producer would just hit record for us. So having someone there that would be that invested into making parts better is always like helpful, because like sometimes you need someone to kind of call you out on your parts and be like, it's good, but it could be better if you do this.
Yeah, we've gone to some big names in the past still, and that's still happened, like with just knob turning, like. But we're also like a band. I don't know. I think that's another trope. I think that's when you're especially when you're younger, it's a big trope of like, oh, you got this like fear, like someone's gonna mess with your music, man. It's like, dude, we've always liked the opposite, which I really appreciate. Is
Please
like,
mess with it. Yeah.
It's like, listen, you know better than us. We hope you know better than us.
Well, they chameleon into a super band member.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
No bias.
I think making a producer decision is a conscious decision of like we're going this person for a reason, right? So we're not just gonna go have you record us just because you can do it well. Like, we're going for a reason. That reason is we want you to add what you're gonna put into it. So for Adam, it's like we're going to you, trusting you, coming to you. We want you to kick our ass. I want to go in there. I want you to tell me straight up something's terrible. Like, we want that. We also need that. Like, we're a little more, we're not like, we're a little older. We're a little experienced. We're a little veteran of the scene. We've been doing it for a while. Like, we want someone who's going to come in and just like, go through the minutia of things and challenge us in like a higher way. We don't need people to just yes us or say, that's sick, dude. I don't want that. I want someone who's like going to be very critical of what it is. And Adam, first impression, he's sending Johnny he took the chorus melody and the chords we didn't tell him the chords or anything. He just broke it down himself and is playing just the piano melody of the chorus, and he's like, getting it slightly arranged in a way where he's like, this is awesome. This is how it should be. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what a first impression of something,
Yeah.
Even the cymbal, like we did the thing on the bridge. Like, I think we I think we went into Adam again, just thinking like, hey, we want to be challenged, right? We want to be challenged at like a high level. Stuff we didn't even think about. Stuff that he's going to say like, hey man, this is terrible, or this needs to be this, or whatever. And he never said it wasn't like that, but he just, wasn't afraid to be critical. And I think first drum take, he's already like rearranging how like the cymbals, right, like swelled into a part or something like that. And
and like the bridge, like like Joey said, it's just nice to have someone who is not a part of your band, because you have that person who is kind of unfamiliar. Like we say this all the time. Like the biggest sickness that you could get in a band too is demoitis, where you're so used to how the demo sounds, and like you're like, no, this is it.
Yeah, and I got a bad case.
Yeah,
I got some of the worst case of demoitis you've ever seen.
Your
dreamer.
Your producer has to be the doctor to cure that.
Oh, that's a great analogy, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you.
You've been workshopping that one.
Yeah, I got.
Also, bless you. Sorry.
You're good, man. I got a bad case of demoitis.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Hell, we all do. I'm going to call you out.
I do the same thing, dude.
You know
I'm
what?
like,
I listen
that's
to
how
his
it should
demos
sound.
a lot
You know what?
sometimes. I think Hard to Trust, I'm still like, the demo version is
like,
what I hear.
this is how it should have
instead of the
sounded.
recorded
No.
version.
I'll tell you
I
though,
love how
for
it
this
sounds,
song, I didn't really have any, and that's because I didn't come in with almost any leads. And this is for Straight Jacket, the theme has really been, which is weird. I've always left room for improvisation in the studio.
Sure.
Not improv for the sake of improv, but just like I love to go into the studio with a song about 80% realized, and then just like there's that 20% of like, yeah, but it could be this, it could be that. What if we did that? There's always gonna be those moments. Not saying go in unprepared. I'm just saying you go into the studio malleable. You go into the studio ready to change things. Okay, and for Straight Jacket, this is the most I've ever consistently release to release, song to song, that I've ever gone in without a lot of leads. And I've done the most in the studio for this band that I've ever really done, except for like the Belmar riff and a couple other parts. But yeah, for None to Save, I really don't think I had any leads in there. Maybe just the breakdown.
Johnny, how do you feel about him coming unprepared and that nice?
I love it.
Oh no! Stoke the flame.
Well,
I love how unprepared Joey is.
I'm like twisting it. I'm like, I come in ready for anything to change.
Improvisation.
Cool,
No
we got drums
dilly-dallying,
done
no
in 3
lockdown.
I leave room for space. Yeah.
Smooth sailing.
It's fun. The joke is that I need to practice, and I finally realized, I'm like, oh, it's because I wrote most of these parts like in the studio, and we've changed them up or we found something better, and I did it there on the fly.
I think it's like Joey said. It's one thing to have the songs kind of locked down, like rhythm wise. Like for me, Kyle, Kevin, it's easy because we have our parts locked down. We know what we're doing in the studio. But when Joey's coming in and doing those like kind of improv-y parts, like Nothing Left to Say, we recorded it in like May, I think, and didn't put it out until we recorded it May of 2023. Didn't put it out till March of this year, 2024.
Yeah.
So by the time we're actually playing it at shows, you don't really know what you played in the studio.
Yeah, because I wrote a lot of that.
It's like you have to like list play back the
Right.
song.
Well, we actually came in, we tracked the rhythm and stuff, and I remember we were gonna go to Leeds and like we shot a couple things out, and Adam's thing was like, you know what? I don't want to spend all day like shooting stuff out. He's like, why don't you take my interface? We're staying at the like lodging in the studio.
Oh yeah,
And
I've
it was
seen
really
the
cool,
room,
and he gave me his interface, and I had my laptop, and I remember just throwing the tune on my laptop. Like we were staying over there like overnight.
Yeah.
And I like I had a couple ideas, and I just shot a bunch of stuff out myself that night, and I came back to him the next morning, and I was like, here's what I did, and then we went from there, which really worked. But actually, the two favorite leads on there I did write that night. It was in the intro after everything drops in, Johnny's kind of ripping this like octave riff, the main octave riff, which we harmonized too. That's our little nod to like our little Iron Maiden nod or whatever. Judas
Our
Priest.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Gets harmony.
That's a little metalcore nod there. There's a little Sonic the Hedgehog riff for you there. Right? Like
there's gotta be, dude.
Doing the harmonies, the octave harmonies.
Yeah.
But I have a little I don't even know what to call it. It's like a little real super it's like a palm muted, like syncopated palm muted riff. It's like a real stretch for me. And I that part I love, and then we harmonize that with an octave, and then I guess we octave it, and then and that I kind of was vibing because I was listening to a lot of Seosin, especially their first EP I love, and like 7 years, man. I love like the guitar work on 7 years, which I is a huge blueprint for a lot of the newer stuff we're working on as well. So that's really where I'm going,
makes sense.
like guitar wise.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of shredding in there, like not like shredding, but there's just a little bit of guitar flexing in there. And I was like, let me like put something a little like that. And then in the chorus, the lead in the chorus is like super clean and chorusy, like the guitar effect.
Yeah.
And it's very watery and airy, and that, I mean, it's ripped for me like inspirationally right from Bullet for My Valentine. I think it was Heart's Person of Fire, like that intro guitar line.
It's a flame, yeah.
But that's where I'm taking it, like right there, because I don't know. I think that when it comes to rhythm and lead kind of dichotomy, I like a lot of if we're doing typically if we're doing something like whatever the texture of the rhythm is, I want the lead to then usually be a counterbalance for it. So in this case, it's distorted, it's chunky, it's very chunky distortion we're doing in the chorus, and I'm like, this song's a lot of that. It's got a lot of the open Ds and a lot of like palm mutes and a lot of heavy stuff. And I'm like, well, I want to add this like element of like airiness to it and like this like ambient sort of energy kind of to weave in and out of all the chunky stuff. So that's how I usually approach lead guitar. I want to kind of like get in there like a little tapestry of something different to complement it, and provide that little balance. So that's why the chorus guitar, like my role in the chorus is completely, I mean, it's like I'm playing like if you just isolate my guitar, I'm playing like a Cure song or something,
Oh, sick.
It's so clean and
kind of like warbly and
super it's just like that. It's really not like it's got nothing to do with sonically the rest of the guitars, but it adds that like multi-dimension to everything,
I think it works too because of how kind of like we were saying, like desperate or like frantic the rest of the song is. The chorus is like all halftime.
Yeah.
So
It's
kind of breaking down into that, like your clean parts like just brought that dynamic like
it's almost
together.
It's not a ballad, but it's like it is all halftime, which is funny, right? And it's very pretty, it's very it's emotional. I think lyrically it accentuates it too. We're talking there's that plea, the lyrics of the chorus is very much a plea in a way. So having that like kind of emotional element in the music is important, because otherwise it's just a lot of aggression with the vocals. I think if you need to have something else kind of give you that sense.
It's like play kind of off of it, like, or like a sort of a counter to it. And I always think it's like interesting to have like a part of the song that like the emotion of the lyric is reflected also in the emotion of the music. Like obviously I could have an emotional lyric that's aggressive musically, but when you're coming off of something so heavy otherwise, going to like something emotional, it kind of creates like a music concrete type deal,
I think kind of like what you're saying too. I think Joey, you said it, but like there's just parts of this song where it literally feels like the end of the world.
A little bit.
And like,
I
don't know, I feel like lyrically and musically like they just match up. Sometimes it's hard to get both to lock in like that.
Yeah, the synergy of it really. Ab did a great job of that too. I mean, there's a part of like a breakdown in the second verse, and that was an Adam moment where he just like grabbed my guitar and he was just like, what should we do here? No, it's good, but I love that. Like, take it. Like, don't let I'm trying to figure out a lead here, and he just does this like crazy stabby octave, like so like mid 2000s like metalcore or something. Like, I don't know, he's just like in the bled or something. It's just, like,
exactly.
It's just so cool. And like
also adding to that, I think it's funny that day we found out from Adam, he was like, like guitar's my main instrument. I'm not even like really a drummer.
Oh my god.
Which is
but he's literally like
the best drummer.
Yeah.
Like ludicrous. Literally ludicrous. And he was ripping. Yeah, he ripped this like octave thing, and I was like, you know what? You got it. You just hit that. Sometimes it happens, man. You just get someone's got the magic take. I'm like,
you're gonna play that better than I could. Just like record that.
It's fine. I know what you're doing it. It's okay. But yeah, he ripped that. I mean, it just really added the whole element of that. I mean, the breakdown too. Like, it was just that was the only lead I really came in there with, was like my little counter lead in the breakdown, actually, which everybody loved when I played it.
Yeah.
And the demo, everyone was like, I remember like you and Kyle, everyone was just like, we got to keep that.
Yeah.
And I played a lead very similarly in the new song we're gonna have come out, and it's like very similar in a breakdown as well. And
so it's a motif,
Well, for me, it's just it's like a move I do, but it just works. It just kind of works every time. It's a little a little fretboard geometry I like always gravitate to.
I like that.
Well, as a guitarist, I mean, this is gonna get boring for non-guitarists, but like, or maybe it'll be fascinating for non-musicians, but like, I'm not like a musician's musician, so like, for me, it's like what I mean is like maybe from like a technical standpoint, right? Like, I'm a huge like geek about songwriting and all
Yes.
that. But when it comes to like technical music stuff, like I don't really got any of that knowledge there. I never really tried to apply myself hard to it. So my thing is more like there's going to be spots on the fretboard, you know, as a guitar visually that I'm like, oh, there's a geometric shape here
Yep.
or a pattern here that I can see with my fingers. And then I gravitate towards those. And then in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, I can play. I know that this pattern sounds good in this key here. I couldn't tell you musically what it is, you know, note-wise or why. I could just tell you that, like, I know when I play this shape here, this thing happens. And it's a very good shape. It's a great shape.
It's a
I
great-
think most guitarists
You had to throw it in there.
in
best
that
shape.
genre think the same way, though. I don't think anybody's really coming at it from that angle.
It's like, oh well, I'm just playing sixths up the fretboard. It's like, no, dude,
Shut
I
up,
like
nerd.
this shape.
I mean, yeah, but I know enough people. I do know enough guitar. Like, I do know people that are like, oh, you're doing like a, you know, you're doing like an inverted, you know, fourth. I'm like, dude,
oh,
Doing
no,
a-
it's
a
too many words.
Mixolydian,
Yeah.
mode.
I'm doing. It's a Parisian. It's the Parisian scale. Like
The Parmesan
the
scale.
it's the Laryngelian scale. Like, dude, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, it does come back to haunt you sometimes where you listen to a lot of your songs and you're like, oh, I'm actually like doing this a bunch, you
Yeah.
know. But if I started to
Well, you
pick,
keep listening to the demo, man.
yeah, I got a
break
big
away
demo
from it.
itis. Hey, I've started to pay attention to though that every guitarist, for the most part, though, really does have motifs that they play and they
Of
go
course.
back to.
Yeah.
And I think it's your own music. You could do as much as you want. You
Yeah.
know?
Who's gonna tell you like, yeah, don't do that anymore?
Yeah.
Other than your band. Like,
No,
one's-
no,
Yeah, I mean,
no
Well-
one's gonna be like, nah.
Yeah. when you listen to the bridge, Nothing Left to Save, and then the next song we have in the queue when that drops, listen to the bridge of that song. And
It's
And
called
cannot
There
wait.
Is Something Left to Say.
Yeah.
This
called-
riff.
saved.
it's called Actually We Were Wrong.
Yeah. We were wrong.
But yeah, listen to the bridge of that, and you'll hear like. Let me know if you hear the same kind of riff.
Yeah,
That's all I
no,
can tell
that's
you.
sick though.
You know.
It's part of your toolbox, I think. Like that's my whole thing. Like I often consider myself more of a songwriter than guitar player, but like you work out of the toolbox you got. Like whether it's knowing your guitar like it's the back of your hand and knowing all the names for everything, or like working off shapes and sounds that feel comfortable to you. Like that's your kit right
you
there.
just move the capo. You change.
Just
you
move the
change
capo.
key. You
Just move
play
the
the same chord.
Listen, you go 12th fret on the G, 12th fret on the B, and then you can move that to 12 and 13, or you could do 12 and 10. And you do
Yeah,
that as a
math.
little chord.
Maths.
Yeah,
Quick-
you do
quick
that.
math.
Do that as a little 2-thing chord and have fun. There you go.
Yeah, you're done. That's music right there. We've done it.
Out the gate, you started the song with the intro riff, or did you have like a chorus in mind?
It was just the intro riff.
Damn.
Yeah, I wrote the intro riff, and like I said earlier, like I kind of showed it to the band. I think Joey might have been like the only person that was like, "This is cool." Like I think Kevin and Kyle both clowned it. They were like, "This is stupid," but that's just because the intro was like the way that it was.
Right.
But once like more of the song was written musically, like I think I actually started like demoing the song out. Maybe like I think I wrote the riff in like October. Like by January, I was really like starting to invest more time into it. So by the time I had like the intro verse and like the chorus, that's kind of where I stopped, and I was like, all right, now check it out like in more context. And that's when we actually finished writing it together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need that. Like I feel like sometimes you can have a good idea for like an intro, and like I don't know, I just like doing our songs where like I'll write the intro, verse, chorus, then I stop and like let us all have like our fingerprints on finishing it.
Yeah, and it's funny 'cause I don't even think I heard the. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I heard the chorus melody until right before we sent it over to Adam. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even. I remember hearing the pre-chorus melody, especially in the bridge, because in the bridge, going into the breakdown of the song, we like Johnny revisits the pre-chorus melody. I remember though we were doing a live practice, and you kind of hit that melody, and in that moment I was like, "Nah, this is gonna be good." I was like, "I feel good about what he's cooking on right here,"
Yeah, I like really labored over this song, like lyrically. The melodies were pretty much the same throughout everything, but like lyrically, it's kind of like what we talked about earlier with like the quantity over quality,
Sure.
or quality over quantity, whatever. Like I think I believed so much in this song that I didn't want to mess it up. So
Yeah.
I had a really hard time like just making sure the lyrics were like right and to the point where I was literally like up on the microphone in the studio still
Yeah,
working on
that-
lyrics.
Yeah.
I remember you opened I think you were working it, and I remember you like opened the door like sometime the second day. You're like, okay, now let me see if you guys got suggestions. I think
Yeah.
it comes at different points for us. Like sometimes like I tell this to people a lot of times because we talk about like who's like kind of responsible for stuff here. It's like at this point now I'm like, this is a Johnny song, this is like a me song, and then there's like always that element of like every Johnny song maybe I got like 20% in there, and every me song Johnny's got the 20%, and then like sometimes it's just it switches.
Yeah.
It's not like a strict thing. It just
Yeah.
ends up being like sometimes whoever's got the idea, we just let run with it, and I'm like, you know what, Johnny's cooking, I'm gonna let him cook, and then at a certain point, whenever that is, sometimes it's early on, sometimes it's later on, sometimes one of us wants to follow that idea all the way through, but then there's a point where we're always open the gates to be like, all right, do you want to come in, because I don't know what to put here,
Yeah.
what can we do,
And like Joey was saying, like he was working on the riff the night before he recorded it for that one lead part. Like he was in like the bunk room where we were sleeping, and then I was in like the live room just pacing, trying to think of like melodies and lyrics for it. Like it was so difficult to solidify anything on this song because there were just so many like options
Sure.
that we could do on it. I just wanted to get it right.
I mean, thematically, man, I really like I'm proud of you for the chorus and like the message, because it's a little not unconventional in a way, but like it could just, these kind of songs can always be so about the same thing,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
the
They
song
can kinda
isn't
fall
this
into
song.
the,
This
very
song isn't that like this
niche.
isn't this isn't like this isn't a big trope. I don't think on
Yeah,
this
it's-
song.
I think, without leaving, I want to leave like room for interpretation, but I think like the main message of what this song turned into lyrically was just like, I was newly engaged at the time that we were like kind of doing it. So it was just kind of like being like very self-aware of your flaws and hoping that the person that you're with is like on board with it through like the good times and like the bad times. That's why,
Sure.
I don't know, the whole theme just kind of came to be like.
Yeah,
that.
it seems like, I mean, I'm not engaged, but it seems like no, it seemed like a plea for someone to kind of accept you as yourself, and also probably not to leave when they see the
Yeah,
bad shit,
yeah.
because
100%.
It's
that
a
kind of happens,
universal
right?
experience, like at some point or another with partners or prospective partners or fiancés or whatever. Like I think that's a
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of weight with, realizing that you're going to be spending the rest of your life
sure
with
Yeah.
somebody, and just being aware of like how you are. So that's really what it came from. And also, this is a silly tidbit, but like the song's called "Nothing Left to Save," but that line literally wasn't written until like 5 minutes before we
That's so
started.
funny. It happens that way
recording
a lot.
it. That line drew inspiration that morning. So I worked from home from the studio just that morning, and I had to do time cards. And when you're doing time cards, you have to save it. And I was doing someone's, and I couldn't remember if I hit save or not, so I clicked it, and a little pop-up came up that said, like, nothing to save.
Dude.
And I was like,
Wow.
whoa.
Yeah, that got real.
So thank you, ADP.
Oh, we're just giving the most corporate
That's your
banner.
next
That's so
tattoo.
bad.
the ADP
Oh,
logo,
the ADP
dude.
logo, dude. No,
Get
it's
in
funny.
here for free.
A band I love called Foles, obviously Foles. Like,
Oh, yeah,
they
Foles,
have
yeah.
a double record called Everything Not Saved, Will Be Lost, and I'm like, was really what's the word? Ruminating.
Yeah, ruminating.
I was really
Yeah.
ruminating on that title for a while. I was
It's
like, man,
gotta be
that's-
from a computer.
I'm like, that's so profound. And then
When I saw that pop up on ADP, I was like, whoa. I just had like an existential crisis for like
Dude,
10 minutes.
I feel like
But it
90%
just
of
hit me
computer
that-
messages are like kind of existential. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, are you sure? I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, it just hit me that Foles record is a computer message, and they're like, that's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
that explains it. So, yeah, it's really integrating with the modern world.
Yeah.
We've got some poets in tech,
Other than that, though, like Joey said, the only thing that was like constant throughout the entire period was like the pre-chorus. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of knew that those lyrics and like the melody was going to be like the one, but like it was really like the verses that needed the most work, and the end of the chorus. The start of the chorus, I think, were the same like lyrics for like a week or two.
yeah.
and I just couldn't figure out like how to end it.
That's an eternity in our time for having lyrics
Yeah.
up. I think my favorite bit though actually is the bridge, going into the bridge, the vocal treatment that Adam did. The vocals just like they were doing the pre-chorus like down, going into the breakdown, but they just sound so watery and like intimate. And I know this is gonna be like one of those like things where people are describing like tones and sounds as like things that aren't sonic, but like the intimate and just like very not underwatery, but you know what I'm saying, like very airy and like a little
like
watery,
in it.
just like right up in your ear.
Yeah.
Kind of earnesty to the bridge vocals before the breakdown hits, and that whole vocal chain and how those lines get delivered. I think is my favorite part, actually.
Yeah, and the one thing Adam kept saying when we were recording it was like, I need you to be more vampire-y.
Yeah, he did say that. No, yeah, he did. You wanted to get
So that was definitely like the vibe of like the verses and
Yeah.
the pre-chorus, just more vampire-y.
No,
Just
but you know
gotta
what? It
picture
makes sense because like
me with like a Count Chocula like cloak.
No, but it makes because that provides a lift. Actually, that kind of thing. I think modulating your vocal performance like that does provide a lift because now you have such a scene you set in the verses, and then you kind of do a scene change, and it's not just the instruments coming in, but it's the way your delivery is, the way your personification of the delivery is.
I'm convinced that like 70% of like vocal performance comes from like visualization. It's like you put a thought in my head and like I'm gonna, whether it's for pitch, like imagine yourself scooping, or like delivery, like like how you be more vampire-y, like you see that image and I'm gonna try to deliver you that. And it's like no, that's 100. Visualization is so important to vocal.
Yeah, sometimes when you're recording vocals, like I don't know, when you're doing a demo, I think it's a lot of like in the moment stuff where like magic kind of happens, but then when you actually step up to the mic in the studio, you're literally just like standing with a mic in front of you, and it's just like, I hope I get this part right. Like I hope it sounds good. So I think sometimes you do need that to kind of get out of that space that you're just like, here I am.
All right, let's take it line by line.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Kristen Makes style. Shout out Krista Makes a Podcast.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to Krista Makes a Podcast?
No,
you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You guys will love. You
explain that
should.
to me.
You guys should get on that. For
Singer
like,
of Less Than Jake has a podcast where he breaks down songs like literally lyric by lyric with the person that wrote it.
Oh my God.
Also, there's a segment at the end of every show called like bands you might not know, and we were on one of them.
Yeah.
We were on the.
Yeah.
No
he
shit.
did an episode for Bohemian Rhapsody when they were on tour one summer. He just did like a song that you couldn't get an interview for, and we were on that episode.
Yeah.
Wow,
For
that's
Heaven's Gate, our
tight.
first
Yeah,
single.
we played Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, that podcast, man. Like we geek out. You guys
It's huge
would love
for
it. I'm
us.
serious, if you don't
I'm
really know,
gonna
it's
dive into
phenomenal.
that. That sounds
Every
sick.
good song that we grew up on is like on there, and then he'll get like the get like the actual like songwriter and the artist in, and then like you got like Mark Hoppus on there doing What's My Age Again. You got
Oh my God.
like Derek doing like Fat Lip.
You got John Feldman doing everybody's songs.
No,
but
literally.
he actually did have
John
John
Feldman's on
this one.
multiple
Yeah,
episodes.
no, John
Yeah,
Feldman's
of
on
course
there a
he
bunch.
is, yeah.
It's just, I mean, dude, I know Mark McGrath of
Yeah.
Sugar Ray
Oh
for
my
Every
God.
Morning.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Dan from Story of the Year, Until the Day I Die.
yeah. They break. I mean, I'm saying they break it down
That's
like
gotta
line by
be-
line, section by section, riff by riff. Like he does like crazy research on the song.
Sounds like
and,
you got to prep for this one too. You can't just go in like
100%.
Well,
And
know,
this
like-
is obviously like another tangent that's not related to the song, but like when we first started the band, like we were both so into that podcast, and I think you can really tell from the first EP because a lot of those songs are like a little more of the era that like he was having people on. You know what I mean?
2003.
Yeah. I think
like Goldfinger was such a big
Yeah.
influence
Yeah.
for like the earlier stuff we were doing. From 2 years ago?
yeah.
you know what,
From our early catalog.
I think the influence on the this is
The
gonna
old
sound
stuff.
this is gonna sound ridiculous, but like having a podcast influence your music. I don't think it's musical. I actually think what it did was for us is that Johnny and I were very open, and we still are, but like I think it's just about like it created a culture of like between us like celebrating the fact that we can be really critical.
Sure.
Which sounds whatever it sounds, but like we were like listening to a songwriting podcast all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So like when it came time for us to do it, we're just surrounded by people breaking down or maybe chastising moves that they almost did and then didn't do, and the way things became better. So we're really not afraid to be like, no, throw this out, like hey, this is good, but like this could be better, and like not take it personally, because a lot of you hear stories of everybody all day where they're like, yeah, the song was almost this, but then we did this thing, and now it's a hit. Now I'm talking to you in a podcast 20 years later again. So for us, it kind of created this air of like, hey, it's very normal to just change shit when you're songwriting. It's normal to like not, get so attached to everything, and sometimes you nail it and sometimes you don't, but it's okay to just like question stuff. It's okay to like challenge stuff. It's okay to just like that's the thing. I think that really ran the band in the beginning for sure. It was very much just like, we're not afraid to just like talk to each other about, if it's bad and not take it personally. And it's like still hard, dude, because you write lyrics, you put yourself into it. You could be so sold on an idea, and then it just imagine it just doesn't even land at 2 feet in front of you. Your own bandmate doesn't even get it. It's like that's hard.
Yeah,
it's
you don't
tough.
want that. Which kind of relates back to what you said. Like you were like so attached to the song. Like you didn't want to drop the ball on the lyrics. Then like, and that's kind of one of those things. Like you go in with a song, you're like, I love this song so much that like I can't let any other facet of it fall short. Like that would be devastating to me.
Yeah, that was definitely the song for I think all of us. I think we all really like believed in this one too.
I think we still got a lot. I mean, we got a lot more belief left in it. I mean, it's just we're obviously we've been playing live a lot. It's been at the top of our it's already at the top of our Spotify, which is nice because there's other songs that have been ahead of it for longer that have less plays, so that's really nice. We got a lot more pushing to do for it. Straight up, it's got a lot of legs in it, I think, and that's the new world of music promotion now, or like being an artist in today's age is like promoting your music more as a circle instead of a linear thing. So the song's out. Doesn't mean we got to stop pushing it like it didn't just come out today. And I think that's the thing that we grew up not doing that, so that gets a little lost on us. But that is like kind of how this works now. So I think the song's got a lot of life in it, a lot of legs in it. I think we all heard it when we first heard the first mixes back. We're all like, this sounds like major label. Like, it doesn't even sound like our band. Yeah. And, like, even still to this day. Like,
and that's such a good feeling. You're like, oh, this is legit now. Like, it feels real.
Yeah, it just didn't sound... It literally didn't sound like we made it. That's, like, how good the mix came out. Yeah. Like, seriously, And it was just like... So I think I have that feeling still. And I think that's a feeling that we kind of want to keep pushing out to everybody.
That'd be great if you found out that, like... Adam hired session musicians to come in and like
just replayed everything.
Just AI
professional vocalist.
That was our
like me. That's crazy.
That was our joke for a while. Whenever we would go record, like if someone was like in the booth, we would like hit the talkback and be like, "Yeah, dude, we got the take. Why don't you head down the street, grab a bite to eat, and we're good."
Matt Lags is big on that. Yeah, I love that.
Like, the room wasn't really feeling it.
The room's not really feeling it, man. Like just.
Oh man. The last thing you want to hear. The room's not really feeling it.
We're also the most unserious band, and like we rip on each other probably an unhealthy amount. So especially when we're in the studio, it's just elevated because I like to think it's just trying to get everybody to get to their highest potential. But
like Whiplash.
It's like Whiplash.
It's just like
not
Whiplash.
my tempo.
Yeah, Kevin's playing. We just slap him in the face.
Yeah, we're
no leads.
Yeah,
you had 4 months to work on leads.
Yeah, one. God. We recorded. We're doing some new music with Connor Hansen, and that's out. It's out. Sorry, everyone. Blowing that out.
When does this come out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whenever you're kidding.
We're doing some music. I think originally I genuinely obviously I know Connor, but he doesn't know everybody else. And
of course.
I think like somewhere in the middle of the first day, I was like, I think he thinks that we all don't like each other, and we don't. And not only that, we don't like him. And it's like that's just not.
And you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. It's like no, it's not like that. It's like this is how we are.
Yeah,
like,
it's rough.
We're just like 3 unbelievably sarcastic New Jersey kids, and then a masshole
who's just also from New Jersey spiritually. Kyle, we love Kyle. Shout out Kyle. Shout out Kyle Lusty.
Shout out Western Massachusetts.
Just
breeding the best.
Shout out Chicopee. Shout out Bueno.
I didn't understand any
spot.
of
that. They're speaking.
Sorry, what was
speaking
the question?
in tongues. Yeah. But I can definitely get like the vibe where it's like you go in with like say like Connor and it's like he doesn't know how you guys are yet. It's like is this a joke? Are they serious?
Oh yeah, it's There's
a 5 songs in one day. I feel like that's a reach.
That's a push.
No, we did 1 song with him.
In 5 days or 1 day?
Oh, with Connor?
What?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh.
We did 7 songs in 7 hours.
In 7 hours.
Wow, that's impressive. All right,
We're
next.
that tight.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be unbelievable. By the way.
We did it all live.
Yeah, if you're Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. It's like, all right, one take, we're good. That's it. Breakdown.
What are your goals for the band?
Oh.
Just to get you two to fight in front of me right now.
Just to break up in about a year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cash in on a reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play the lanes again.
Cashing on a reunion is a good. I just saw Half Heart for the second Half Heart reunion, so it's like
Yeah, anything
you
can happen.
cash out.
Yeah,
You
we can
cash
all
out.
just become teachers and then play in the summer when we're not, like pull a Pat Flynn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation for any band we get involved is take it as far as it can go. I think they're taking things as far as they can go. Look and feel. Well, they don't feel that they look different when you got we're all older and there's different ways we have to approach stuff right now. And
Yeah. Is there anything like unconventionally the four of you all see? Coincidentally, as like something that would be really cool, like a cool direction to take it, like more the modern age, or you're kind of just like write songs, rip gigs.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything groundbreaking. I mean, I just want to personally. I just want to get back on tour. I want to play some. I just want to play, kind of every thing or festival or whatever that we always saw. I want to go overseas and stuff. I want to I don't know. I just want to do everything that I want to do with music. And I mean, look, if the Warped Tour was around, I'd be like,
Yeah,
we
like,
could
you
still
guys would
do
be
that,
get on it, yeah.
Drive Through Records to reform and we could be on their roster,
Sure.
But
Whatever it may be, whatever tour that may be at the time or festival, adjacent, whatever.
yeah, I mean things like that. I mean, get onto a label that we love, and there's so many for the genre here.
Yeah.
There's just so many good labels that are doing it, that we grew up listening to and engaging with. So I think go to that, go there. I mean, these are end game goals, in a way.
I think at the same time too, as long as we're having fun doing this, that was the whole reason why we got back to making music together in the first place. Is just took a lot of time off. At least I took a lot of time off from doing music, and it's fun for me to be on stage with my friends playing shows, and as long as we're just having that vibe still, like Joey said, we'll take it as far as it could go.
These are all good answers, but what do you want to do that's outside the box?
I want to play on Mars, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
We're gonna be the new Kill Tony band.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, Tony, please.
Nachos.
Yeah, not just. Dude, I can't.
Casey feeling the fastest minute set.
I want to have Casey Rocket.
You gotta get
do a
tattooed
set while we
every
play.
set. But
Yeah.
make sure the applause is down
Yeah,
to zero every
that's
time.
actually what we're gonna do to take it to new. We're gonna hire a tattoo artist to join the band, not to play an instrument, but just to tattoo Joey.
Joey's
in a
like, I'm out
bodysuit.
of skin and I'm out of funds.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like what band is it? Is it Mighty Mighty Boss Tones that has the guy that just skanks on stage?
Sounds
it's one
about
of those,
right.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Necro Gobblecon?
I've heard of Necrogoblicon.
They're just a ridiculous metal band, and there's literally a member
That's just the
who
goblin.
just wears a goblin mask.
That's sick.
and just runs around the
Yeah,
stage
he's
the
the
entire
goblin.
show.
Yeah,
That's
that
incredible.
No instruments.
goblin.
Yeah, his name's John Gobblecon.
Birth
No, all
name.
right, hold
It's
on. Now you guys
that's his
cooking.
government name.
You know what we want? We want John Pork to come to one of our
Yeah,
gigs.
John.
dude. If he calls, you got to answer.
Yeah, we will always pick up for John Pork. We want to
Dude,
come
I've
to one
been
of our
loving
gigs.
those memes. I've been on the wave
Wait,
of
it's a meme?
Yeah, what do you mean a meme?
Oh, do you take freak pay? Do you take the Quavius pork pay? Do you take mouse pay?
He's a real guy. He probably just takes Venmo.
He's a real
He's an
guy.
influencer.
Or
He
Zelle, were
travels.
you asking me
Zelle.
before?
Yeah, I was asking you for. Oh, yeah. Well, that's been sorted out.
I was gonna assume so because there was no follow
Yeah,
up.
this episode is brought to you by Zelle.
Yeah.
Use code Joey to donate.
Joey's like, "Do you take Zelle?" I'm like, "Why?" And he just didn't answer.
Because I'm making so much money, I have to move it around.
That's
Yeah,
what.
that's it.
That's it.
He's making money.
He's going to offshore accounts.
That's it, yeah.
By the way, I have a dog. Can you watch it? Like what?
Wait,
You have a dog?
yeah, I do have a dog.
Winston actually wrote
Yeah.
all of Joey's guitar parts for.
Oh, I was
Nothing
gonna
Left
say
to
all the
Save.
I do
Post,
actually need someone to. I do someone to walk Winston tomorrow around 6, so that's if any of y'all are available for that.
When does this come out?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
in the Asbury area.
I mean, that could be any
helpful.
day. Like any day, he might need someone to walk
It's
his
true.
dog.
I've been going to Philly a lot, so
Hell yeah.
for better or for worse.
You're not bringing the dog to Kensington.
No, I'm not going against you. No. No.
I don't even know where to go from
No,
that
honestly,
one.
shout out Philly, shout out Kensington.
I love
like,
Philly.
Great music scene there.
Yeah.
Shout out all of our people. Shout out Germantown. Shout out
Wow.
Matt.
Shout out Fishtown.
Fishtown.
Shout out South Street.
Okay, yeah, we're going.
We're getting some diminishing returns here. Is there anything else that you'd like to know out of us to get this to a nice
I think
cap?
we hit it all.
Nah, they were good. I'll like fade this out.
Winter comes from arrow, you keep holding on the same. There was nothing